horror one. Why is it really sensitive? I've got like no noise suppression on it, but whenever I have noise suppression, it just doesn't sound very good. I could do a noise gate, but I don't know the best settings. Noise gate. Is there a way to... If I delete that, yeah. And re-add the noise gate. It should put it on as default settings, right? Oh, I don't think that's default. Best settings. Yeah. Default value is set to 30. As in the close or the open? I hate when images are so small on the side that you have to open them up in a separate thingy. So he's got 32, 26. Oh, he's literally got the settings I've got. Oh, so that must be default. So I assume I sound fine now. Bom, 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 bom. Brain. And it's going to my... That's not right. Try that again. That's not right. Try that again. Oh my god, get off my screen. Thank you. That's better. Is that a real court case on the front of my Twitch? Is that a real court case on the front of my Twitch? Hey, fucky pants. Oh, it's gone. I still just saw court case on the front of my Twitch. There's got to be a more efficient way to set up my streams. I'm just too lazy to... I should really dedicate a bunch of time into making my streams feel as streamy as possible. Because I haven't had, like, a bunch of stuff working. I should probably stream on Twitch and re-stream on YouTube, because Twitch has better, like, emoticons and stuff that come up and, like, all the funky stuff. Come on, Epic. Come on. Hate the Epic launch. I tried to do it in Photoshop, but now I have to learn these things first. I mean, the way I just... I was only a very quick example. Come on, Epic, are you good? Just back on library. I think the Epic launcher is absolute poo-poo. It's so bad, it's so slow, it's so clunky. Things are not in a very good organized way. And admittedly, everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. It's obviously Steam. Well, Steam, you can launch software, so it's hard to say, because obviously I can just go into Steam. And Steam, sure, they've had decades of experience making this kind of stuff, but like, it's just so flawless and it just runs so fast. If I want to launch Blender, look, now I'm in my software, I've done it. I come into Epic. I mean, first of all, you got equally named stuff, library. We go into library. Takes this long. If I unhide all of that, I did edit it in thingy. Yeah, like, look how slow things take to load. And if I go to search, gotta be fast now, isn't it? I mean, this one is right there. Oh, it is quite fast at the moment. But if I go back to Unreal, I'm like, okay. Oh, it's not too slow, not too slow. What am I looking for? Yeah, I did change the diffuser to Photoshop. I didn't save it out though, but all I did was... Oh, I can't show you that. Okay, I'm trying to open a project and it's crashing when I try to open. Ah. I wanted to open an ArcViz pack. I kind of wanted to make an architectural thing today. So I thought it'd be quite fun using pre-made assets, but apparently not. Because it's not loading. Is it because I converted to 5.1? I guess we won't be doing that today. That's a shame. Yeah, all I did was going to do. My throat's been terrible last couple. So I grabbed the material, went to here. Pasted it in, and I literally just like filled in a cube top of white, put it to an overlay, turn that down, boom, washed out. But I mean, like I said, you could do it the other way, where you basically go into image adjustment. You can do it through curve. Usually contrast is fine, and you can turn down your contrast, and it'll help. Or turn up, no, down. Oh wow, that's not doing it as well as I thought it would at all. Right, we'll just do levels instead. So instead, I guess you could do levels. But again, you should be able to do something similar to this in Blender. So if you do that, it'll do the opposite effect, right? So if we like pulled that and made our highs, basically, the more we pull that to here, the more we'll wash it out. When we put it to here, that would also have you having a washed out effect, right? So we paste your thing again, look. That'll just help wash that out. And then if you want to, you can then darken it if you want. To help get the color you're looking for. Because obviously if that's too bright now, you can just turn that down to like where you want. And again, oh, hold on a minute. What's the new one? Oh, no, that was right. So this is the washed out ones. Go back to turn that down to get it back to like a sort of grayish. As you can see, roughly the same color, but if you look, we've got rid of a lot of that sharpness. Yeah, you keep doing that, like you just want it to as washed out as possible. But the issue in your scene, because I thought it looked fine, I thought you wanted the walls like that intentionally, but if that is an issue and you want that to be cleaner, it looks like a lot of that's coming from your texture rather than your actual, or your material, so rather than your actual if something if it does. Yeah, it looks like this is coming. Look, you might want to tile it more as well, because that looks quite thick, right? If you look there, look, those cracks are huge. You might want to tile it down to make that a bit more minute. I mean, if you look at my, let's go into my Simpsons scene, which is an okay example. One thing I actually want to do on the scene, I want to get an asset out, and I really want to rework its textures. But then again, I don't have its original thingy, so I want to actually make it so these parts. Oh, I've got like a sewn bit there, as if it's been folded over and sewn. That kind of makes sense if we're going for the cheap look. But yeah, if we like look at the walls. Hey, would you like to give me some review on my render? Yeah, let's go, Mark. Remember, renders outside of Unreal, outside of real-time renders needs to be reviewed differently. So I might come out with things that you're like, oh, but you don't do that in Unreal, but it might be just a different scenario. So it depends if your renders are real-time or if they're thingy. Yeah, if we look at our walls, look how tiled I've got this, right? This is really tiled down because I wanted it to look mostly flat, right? and if you get close, you can sort of see the cracks and stuff. But from a distance, it's too clean because it's tiled down. You can't really see that detail to get close, which is what I'm looking for. As in your scene, I mean, I can see cracks, or not necessarily cracks because your material doesn't have cracks in it, but I can see all of that like a layered paint effect from really far away. Which is, again, what I think is causing your patchiness and your dirtiness. So, again, washing out the color and your diffuse map, making your normals maybe a slight bit weaker, making your displacement maybe a little bit weaker, and then tiling it down a little bit. That should give you a cleaner look. The problem is, you've only got this is a one camera angle scene, right? Which is something I'm not too familiar with. I don't do one-shot scenes, I do environments. I hate saying these things because it sounds like I'm bigging myself up. Mine are full environments. Not what I mean. I'm not actually very good at single shot scenes. Like, in fact, there's one I did that was alright, right? Which was I'm whipping up my art station again. Yeah, so I think the only single shot scene I've ever done is this one, right? Because I wanted it, the way it needed to look was single shot. Yeah, when you can't run a single shot, if you've got minute details that you're not going to see from that single shot, then it doesn't matter if you include them. Does that make sense? Whereas in like Simpsons, for example, so I used the couch as a good example of detailed normals. So if you get close to the couch, you can see all of this extra normal detail that starts coming through, like good here where you see the light hitting it, right? Now I've shown this off a few times where basically, if I turn that to 1, I don't know why I've got it set that way, but if I set that to 1, you see those details disappear. Look how low quality it looks when I'm close, and look how high quality it becomes to look when I got detailed normals on, right? So it simulates that there's more detail, and all it is a normal map going across the top. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you to do that. What I'm saying is, if you're doing a single shot scene, right? Let's say the only shot I was doing was from here, right? It's the only angle. Like, I'm putting it on my portfolio, and this is the only shot I'm doing. Again, this is just I'm not actually doing that. This is just fabrication. I'm typing on the thing, you know. So yeah. So if I were to turn on those detailed normals, right, from back here, even if we turn them really, really strong, oh, they are on. If I turn them off, you can't see a difference. At least I can't. I get -1. Okay. If you go way too over top, it just messes up your normals in general. But yeah, this is the strongest they can be, or should be, before they break. This is with them off. Oh, so you can kind of see them on, but you're not really seeing much of a difference, right? So that's basically what I'm saying about like your walls, right? If you scale down your texture too much, you're not going to see those details anyway. So you got to find a nice balance. Do you think the wall normal stroke 0.1 is good? Was one before? I mean, this experiment, 0.1 is going to be really, really minor. That's obviously 10% of what it was. So maybe, again, it comes down to how smooth you want the walls to look. If you want light to hit the room and you want them to look like super smooth walls, obviously 0.1 would be good. If you kind of want some of the light hitting and looking like it's causing some lighting effects, you obviously want it to be a little bit higher. But again, well, two things. One, I could say as much as I want. I think it looks bad or it looks good. Two, it's up to you what you think looks good. Getting other people's opinion is also very, very helpful. But if you're going for a certain look, that's obviously up to what you want. Yeah, 0.5 might be good. Yeah. I'm just a hobbyist, but hoping to work in the industry as well. My outstation is Is there anything you want me to look at specifically? Was you trying to post the link and it wouldn't let you? Because that's what YouTube does. Mongoose art. I realized what it said. Here we see a mongoose. Mongoose art. Now, whenever people tend to do this to me, that art station is like insane. They're like, yeah, can you have a look, Steve? My stuff's 10 times better than you, but can you have a look? And I look and I'm just like, is it on it? Is it Mark? Yeah, that's you. Put your name in chat. So I assume you want me to review it on stream, otherwise you wouldn't be asking on stream. So I'm already seeing really, really, really good stuff. I mean, yeah. Wow, you've jumped drastically in quality though. Well, kind of. Number 4. So what are we looking at? BIM modeler, 3D visualizer, graphics designer. Okay. So my first thought when looking at this is how much of this is modeled. Is this modeled by you? Blender and Photoshop. How much have you hand modeled? I assume with this is all modeled. Is there a lot of? Because yeah, link not allowed. Yeah. Because like the first question, you modeled everything, in all these scenes, everything's modeled by you, or just like that one I particularly looked at. Because that'd be the first question I always ask someone. Because right now in ArtStation culture, everyone just basically grabs a bunch of assets from Megascans, from Substance, and the loft only the plants have been downloaded. Okay, yeah, that's fine because you will rarely make plants because Megascan plants look better. Yeah, like in the ArtStation culture right now, everyone just seems to be grabbing Megascans and Substance Painter assets. Even the painter made a version. Oh, cool. And then they go, look what I made. If someone came into my company, I say my company, I'm only the lead artist, I don't own the company. And I was like, okay, you know, the first question I'm going to ask them when they walk in and sit down and I start looking at their images of their ArtStation, because say, how much of it you made yourself? And if they say, oh, I didn't make any of it, I'd ask them, then why on your CV have you wrote environment artist? Oh, because I make environments. Yeah, but you didn't make the assets, you just level designed it. You just put together pre-made assets and made a level. That's a level designer. You could argue, it depends where you want to look for this, right? Like if I write environment artist verse designer. Level designer is both artistic and technical process. An environment artist, someone who works in the video game industry as a 3D modeler, out and indoor for games. They're responsible for creating majority of the overall visuals the players will encounter on the screen. It doesn't say here, annoyingly. But usually if you look up comparisons, a level designer will put the scene together while the environment artist will make the assets that go into the scene. You know what I mean? By middle. So that'd be like the first question I'd ask. If my boss, I've asked this before in small interviews of people I've interviewed at my company. Yeah, the first thing I always want to know is how much you made. So if you made most of this, I mean, this looks brilliant. It's all... Now, I don't know what industry you want to work in. Whether it be video games or just visualization, ArcViz, cinema. I'll have to create all my assets. Can't create vegetation, so I'm using... Yeah. Vegetation is one of the few exceptions where people don't usually mind. Just didn't do the models or lighting, but I do make everything else. You know what? If you didn't do the lighting, because I'm gonna review. Who did I see recently? Oh, I can't show you that. That was a work one. Ah, man, I saw a really good example recently of someone who's really good at modeling and texturing, but they seem to suck at lighting. And lighting's such a huge part to portfolio work. Yeah, so your stuff looks really, really good. But again, by the looks of this, and the fact that I can't see, it sounds really silly, but the fact that I can't see the edge loops, that looks completely smooth. This looks like a scene that wouldn't be for video game purposes. I think it's very clean. Like this is like very ArcViz driven, obviously. Let's go through one at a time. Yeah, like tiling textures, very nice lighting. The carpet looks awesome. I assume that was a particle effect. Blender, yeah. Yeah, tiling texture. Books look good. Books. There's the Megascan book. I mean, if you made those, they look very good. I like the painting. Did you get inspiration for any of these? Make the idea in your head. Every created by me except the... Yeah, that's, you know what? Writing what you didn't make, perfect. That's what I like to see. I love the table. It's such a weird, like, say... like... modern... Not modern art, but like modern design table. Just like... marble slabbed table or freaking marble cube table. Yeah, I mean, your stuff looks really, really good for ArcViz. I feel like when it comes to ArcViz, there's a very rose-tinted glasses feel to it because it's still difficult to get ArcViz looking good, but obviously when it comes to ArcViz, you're not looking at getting all that like grime and stuff build up. You want that clean look. And that whole grime decals, just additional dirt maps, stuff like that, all the additional stuff that you would do in a video game scene. Let's say someone said, make this look like The Last of Us now, right? And you had to make everything dirty. That's a huge amount of extra work than this. I mean, but this is fantastic. Like, really good. I love looking at it. I see the plants when it goes, oh, wait. You modeled the plants? Oh, well, actually, to be fair, I guess they're not too complex. Oh, so this one's got really, compared to your other ones, I'd re-render this one. Like, your lighting's definitely not quite right. I think it's just because you've got every light source on. You've got, like, the outdoor light and all the interior lights. So it's just blasted the entire scene with light, making it look more flat in a weird way. Yeah, this one, it still looks good, but this looks, like this, if I was to rate out of 10, this would be maybe a 5 out of 10 for ArcViz. Well, this would be like a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Like, it's the drastic difference in the lighting. Lighting's, when it comes to ArcViz as well, ArcViz is like freaking 80% lighting. ArcViz, the lighting is so important because, again, you don't have all of that grime detailing that you get from, for example, video game assets. With this, it's all down, well, your models as well. It's modeling, tiling textures, and lighting. That's the 3 important aspects to ArcViz work. And camera angles, but obviously that sort of, every piece of work you do, you will have to do good camera angles. That's how you show off work. Interior photographs with all the lightings on usually. Oh, did it actually? So, have these got all the lightings on? You haven't got all the lightings on here, have you? Huh? Well, I guess you do. Maybe it's just reducing the point light values then, because if you look like around everywhere, look at the lack of ambient occlusion and shadow values, right? Here's got quite a nice one. Like right here looks fine. But this just, the lighting looks way more flat. Maybe it just needs some contrast in the post editing or Blender's shaders. But like you can see the drastic difference in color, right? Like the color, the shadows, just the lighting in general looks significantly worse here than it does here. This looks beautiful. This is such a nice scene. I wonder if it's because you've not got anything blocking light sources where this is a ground level with a hedge, so you're getting the light forcefully coming in and then bouncing, and it's coming from an angle over here, so it's like the light's like here, right? So it's coming from here. Maybe. Yeah. Did you model the buildings? Because they look good, but this isn't showing off much. Like mountains and stuff, like, again, I don't know if you grabbed the mountains. But a lot of this just comes down to a good texture that basically does slope materials very well. It looks very good though. That one definitely looks better. The camera angle was a bit more interesting. Yeah, grass. I assume that's trees from somewhere. I mean, if you made the trees, fantastic. I think for ArcViz, if you make an interior scene, you don't really have to model every asset yourself, like bed, safe, or wardrobe, etc. Only if that's... Yeah. And well, it comes down to what you're going for. Again, if you came into my company and you were like, oh, I'm an environment artist, I said, oh, did you model everything? And you went, no, 90% of stuff I grabbed online. I'd be like, I mean, like... So a good example from Mark here is this is a one-shot scene, right? Because he's got other angles. Now, there's only 2 angles, but there's still other angles. I don't know what's behind me, and maybe he's done stuff behind me. But yeah, it comes down to... Because if the amount of games I play, and the amount of games, if you watch big streamers play, they'll go, oh, I've seen those assets in another game, you know. It's the problem with reusing assets that you find, is you'll tend to find other people have used those assets, so it becomes less... people become less impressed by the art anyway. But the thing is, if you're going into a company and you're going in as an environment artist and you say to them, yeah, I can model, and then you have very few examples on your portfolio of you 3D modeling, it's just, oh no, I grabbed that from Megascans, or I grabbed that from Sketchfab, I grabbed that from here. That just tells me that, yeah, you know how to level design, but you don't know how to model these assets. Because if I say to you, oh, I don't want a couch that looks like that, I want a couch, and I get you a picture online that looks like this, and you can't find a couch that looks like that, and you can't model couches, but you can download them, that means you can't do the job I'm hiring you for, right? So again, it comes... If you're good at level design, that a company will want you, right? But you'll come into the company as a level designer, not a environment artist. because I suck at level design. You guys have seen my environments. Like, they're okay. Where am I? Like, start from here. We'll get. If you look at my environments, like, so this is just taken from an image. I could improve this environment loads. This is what, 5 years ago. But this was, I made this entire scene in what, 6 days. So the whole point to here was how quickly I could get it together, how quickly I could throw some tiling textures and everything, and how quickly I could get some real-time renderers done. If I did this in Lumen now, we'd probably get even better lighting because Lumen. Whereas this was obviously using Unreal Engine 4. But yeah, like the thing is, this is real time, right? So comparably, if I was like, oh, who looks better? Oh, not that one. This one, you know, or mine. Now this is actually staged better anyway. He's got better curtains. He's got, it just has a much more. Well, again, mine was from an image anyway, so it's hard to say about the actual open planness. But you know, there's the rendering alone makes this scene look significantly better. Whereas if you look at my scene, it looks significantly worse. I like how I've left my lights on as well after saying you're turning yours off, Mark. Like, look, mine are literally on. Like, yeah, my scene looks significantly worse, but a big part of that comes down to lighting. If I threw this into Blender and lit it that way, this scene would look maybe 50% better just from the rendering alone, because real-time rendering looks worse than baked rendering. That's just how it goes. You can render a scene, you can render a single image in 30 minutes when it comes to bake rendering, but obviously in real time, you want to get 60 frames per second plus. So you have less information for the lighting to bounce around and make the scene look cool. But yeah, like, all of this was hand modeled by me though, right? Like, I could have got a couch online and this scene would look better. I could have got assets online and this scene would look better. In fact, the couch and the curtains, which I could go back to this scene and improve it. I probably should do. But the couch and curtains are the worst part of this scene, right? And the carpet. The carpet looks so flat and disgusting. But again, it was made in 6 days, and I hand-modeled everything. You can go back to my very first time-lapse video on my YouTube channel, and you can see me making it. It was a speed run scene, essentially. It was speed modeling. Yeah, the pillows look flat. They don't look like they've got a lot of wrinkles and stuff in them. It's not very good. But yeah, if I grabbed assets online, I could show that I can make that look better. Thank you for taking your time. Taking time on my renders. I mean, they're very, very good. I like looking at people's. Like, I respect that you are respecting my opinion. Your stuff looks better than mine, but you still are willing to hear me out on what I think looks good and bad. Yeah, that typewriter was cool. I could improve that too, because what you do on that instead is I'll probably do a separate texture for all the words, and then I would do a dirt mask for the rest of it. There's nothing in this scene has baked textures, so there's so much improvement I could do on this scene by baking all the textures. I kind of want to redo it. This would be really fun to redo. I might redo it. Because again, think how much better this scene would look. Because I could do couches better now anyway, even if I don't download one online. This couch is so flat, right? I could get proper wrinkles on there. I could bake down a high poly. I could do so much here. Because again, it's video game assets, so I'd want to bake things down. I wouldn't want them to be super, super high poly. I could use nanites and give myself an excuse to make it high poly. But yeah. Yeah, I'd like to go back to this and actually improve it. Spat on my screen a little bit. So let's look at. I'm looking at staging up scenes. So I'm terrible at camera angles and staging up my scenes. I'm okay at lighting. And if you look at my scenes, that sort of, you can see that I'm not good at that. I like doing obviously animations design as well, because the whole point of real-time environments is they're real-time. So why wouldn't I want to show it working in real time, right? We've got all this like movement and stuff that is kind of cool. I think that flickers. Like the box looks terrible. This could definitely improve. That's just a tiling texture across the cylinder. I could redo it this stream, but again, a big part of my stuff, right? So Mark is a good example of someone who does these stuff. But if we looked at a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, you know, 90% stuff downloaded online. At least all my stuff is modeled. So if I went into a company and they asked me, oh, what did you model? Because I had this kind of happen once. They'd be like, what did you model? And if I said everything, they might go, oh, you modeled everything. Oh, awesome. And they will know I'm more of a 3D modeler than I am an environment or a level designer, right? But again, it comes down to the job you're looking for. I always wanted to be a 3D modeler. I don't like level design very much because I suck at it. I don't like imagining how things need to fit in an environment. I'd rather make all the assets. Go to our next scene. And there's another fill as well. So this scene could be improved. I'd like to redo this one as well. So the biggest improvement I could do on this one is redo the trees, right? I made these trees. I should 100% grab an asset of some trees, go into speed tree or something, and generate some proper trees. I could improve the water because I know to the shader better now. But if I had better trees and we actually made some background stuff, like maybe some mountains, this scene would be significantly better. If we rendered it in Lumen as well, we might even get some better quality there. So I'd like to redo this one at some point too. Oh, and the shed looks terrible. So this could be improved. I would probably make this all physical model now and then just nanite it. And actually have some physical slates on the roof and make that look really nice. I would also put on some depth of field to help draw focus to the areas you're looking at. I obviously wanted this picture to be a focus to here, so I'd make it so there's a bit of a blur here, then back here you see a blur. Because of the lighting here, your eyes obviously staring. I know we're reviewing my portfolio now though, but it's important to obviously review your own work as well, because that's how you improve. You stare here. I'm pointing with my finger too. You stare here because there's a light piercing through the trees, but if that was blurred, you'd have more of your attention come through here. If this was the only sharp asset in the scene, you'd also draw more attention here. Another scene which has sort of bad staging. Again, it's hard to stage scenes that are meant for fall environments, because you need everything to work as a full environment. Staging in one scene means you don't have to care about anything else around you, right? I just have to make that one shot look good, and the rest I can not give a damn about. These scenes, I'm making entire environments, so it's very difficult to ignore the fact that I need to make the whole scene work. So yeah, like you could walk around the scene as a video game character. That's the point. That's probably one of my favorite angles. Again, if I had some depth of field, some darker shadowing, it always sounds so smart. Really, I never I don't know. I never got taught any of the stuff, right? It's just because I've played so many games and looked at so much stuff. I'm just like, well, this is what I'd look like. Because people always talk about like the eye focus. Like, it's like that spiral art. This. People always talk about this. I don't know anything about this kind of art. This reminds me of World of Warcraft. Good. That was kind of the feel I wanted it to look like. But yeah. This is what's it called? The golden ratio, right? So I think it's, you tend to have your look go like this. You start from the bottom left. Is that what it means? And then you work your way in. But the way I look at scenes is I just say, well, what draws my focus when I look at it? When I look at this scene, this is a huge focus for me. Again, it's coming from the bottom left, but it just happens to be where this is. This is the biggest light source in the scene, and it's the most exposed thing. So my eye instantly gets drawn to this lantern. And then I start looking at the rest of the scene. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm sort of around here, and I see this here, and you start noticing the less, the things in the darker areas last, because that's how you look at things in real life. If you walked into a bright room, if there was a spotlight or whatever, like an interrogation light straight on an object in the room, you're going to look at that. It doesn't matter about the golden rule that you look from the bottom left coming inwards. If the right side of your vision, you see a light shining on an object, you're going to look at that object. That's just how the human mind and the human eyes work. So I don't know the golden ratio. I don't know a lot of terminology and a lot of art theories and stuff like that. I just know that when I look at something, I know what I look at. You know what I mean? This is just an overview scene. So this one, you look at everything anyway, but obviously it's animated. So with animation, you look at moving parts, right? So you, like, the biggest thing you'll see in a second that would draw a person's vision is the train that comes in from here, right? Oh, wow. A train. Annoyingly, I animated it all. You can't see it. I don't know why I animated it all, but you can't see it anyway. We did a lot of graphics designing. Yeah, like, I think it's really important to learn about it. I just don't find myself having the time to do so. But it's like, it's important. I just don't do it myself. I'm an outlier. And I like the fact that I'm like that, because I feel like if you've got someone who doesn't know about all of these things, you get a nice fresh perspective. And I feel like I give the fresh perspective because I'm not caring I'm not walking into an image of something and going, all right, let's think about all the theories. I'm looking at it like a normal person. I'm looking at it like a gamer. I freaking play games all the time. When I walk and look into a scene, I'm looking at it like I'm a video game character. Or not a character, but someone playing a video game. If I'm actually looking at a video game scene, my eyes go to objects lit weird. Because in video games, it's not as bad today, but usually in video games, objects that are lit slightly differently tend to be interactables. Right? So I look at it from that perspective. I look at it from someone who's playing a video game. Reading the eye and stuff, like if you have an image of a face and you also want them to read the... Yes. Then make sure the face faces... Yeah. It's actually good stuff. Works more than... actually good stuff. Works more than you think. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't. Confirm Steve is a video game character. I think a lot of the theories work. It's just they work on me and I don't know about them. Does that make sense? So I'm probably doing 90% of the things that these things say that people do, but I just don't know about them. I've not read them in documents. So yeah, you know, I'm doing them subconsciously, I guess. So yeah, a good thing in portfolios as well is if you show other parts, even if it's a one-directional scene, I'm obviously showing different parts to show the model quality and stuff. Just to show it kind of breaks the magic for some people because you see the parts you're not supposed to see. But I do think it's a good thing to look at because it helps to understand the actual modeling and everything that went into it, and you can understand lighting a bit better too. As you can see where the shadows are coming. But most of my scenes have inspiration from heavy inspiration. Well, 99% inspiration from the original source, right? I sometimes take liberties and change how they look, but yeah, mostly I try to just replicate what things look like. Simpsons was actually just completely my own design because well, it's obviously The Simpsons, but yeah, like I had 3 days to do all this, and it's all except for the plants. It's all modeled by me. And yeah, I do think one really good thing is to... So this is when I obviously learned more about depth of field and stuff, right? Because it draws your eye to... Well, this comes from the bottom left as well. But it draws your eye to the things I want you to look at. And then you're like... It's shrouded in mystery because it's all blurred. You don't really know what's going on there. That's just more of a personal thing, is that I wanted it to look like that. That was just me wanting to show off the bag because it was a nice bag. That's probably the worst shot. I don't think there's anything really looking like this going on there. I don't know how I should have made that look better. I think I should have had a really nice backdrop instead of just some fluffy clouds. But I didn't know how to tackle that, so I just didn't do it. That's the problem with being a 3D artist, is you need to be very versatile in what you're making, right? And if you lack that versatility, you will suffer with your end result, because a big part of that versatility is making that end result look really, really good. And I'm actually going to show this in a minute, because I want to show you guys lighting, how important lighting is. And I'm going to go to one of my friends. I feel so bad for him, because I always use him as an example of someone who doesn't know lighting, but he's a very good artist. He is. If he's here, which he won't be, but if he's ever here in the stream, he's a very good artist. He just lacks the ability to make lighting work. And I will show that. So I'm just sort of playing this, but we'll show you that it was an animated scene. But again, when it comes to singular, this is another thing as well. If you're doing an animated scene versus singular images, it's really, really difficult to get it working, because you need the generic scene to work with all your lighting and stuff, because you're gonna... I thought it was flickering then, because you basically... Guy making Last Kingdom. Great artist, zero lighting. Oh, as in it's got... No composition. Oh, as in it's bad. Like the lighting and stuff is bad. Oh no. See, I'm not even the best at composition and lighting. I know enough to put a scene together. But it's like understanding just some fundamental things about how lighting works in real life. And again, I'll show you the example in a minute. So I'm just showing you this because... sorry, Mark. I've gone on a way huge tangent here, but it's just for everybody. When doing a whole scene versus doing singular shots, in singular shots or just a couple of shots, not animated scene, you don't need to worry a lot about overall lighting composition, because you're just getting a couple of images, right? And as long as it looks good from that angle, where in this case, where I've got a whole animated scene, I need to make it look good, or at least good enough from every camera angle. I can't make one thing look amazing. I spent a long time on it because I need to make 20 cameras look good. And that's sort of the thing that comes, it goes against people who make things for game engines. You can look at stuff like The Last of Us and they'll tell me like, no, we're really good, because they're amazing. But yeah, it's all about, as Funky Pat said earlier, it's all about time, right? I could probably sit here and make one camera angle look amazing and spend 50 hours getting that one shot, getting that one beautiful shot, but then I've got 19 other cameras that look mediocre. I want the whole thing, if everything's going to look mediocre, I want everything to look mediocre, as weird as that sounds. I want everything to share the same quality amongst all camera angles, right? If I have one thing look very, 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 very good and the rest look bad, it's kind of clashes with the quality of the whole video. But if I have everything looking, let's say we're marking out of 10. If people would give this scene a 5 out of 10, I'd rather them give every camera angle and every shot a 5 out of 10 than give one shot a 9 out of 10 and the rest of the shots a 2 out of 10. Because it doesn't show that I have a consistent quality across the entire environment. So if someone were to hire me for their company, they might go, well, you could apparently make this one camera or this one thing look good. You can stage one little area, but you're terrible at staging the entire environment. So yeah, it just comes on stuff like that. Let's have a quick look, see if I'm missing anything on yours. I mean, your stuff's all ArcViz. That one is probably the best one I just saw. This one's fantastic because you've got the entire environment here. You've got so much stuff going on. I love it. Got some really cool transparency glass. Everyone loves a bit of transparency. Obviously, you've got the blur effect going through it. It's like, not stain, what's what I'm looking for? It's not called blur glass. But yeah, you got like that blur effect in it. Yeah, it's awesome. Tiling textures, wooden ceilings. Wonder if I can see the tiling. I don't think I can. Got so many knots in it. Is that it? There. That's not tiling though. That's offset. Is it tiling on a diagonal to make it not tile? But yeah, it's amazing because a lot of this is actually quite basic shapes. It's just got very good materials on it. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, if you're looking for ArcViz job anyway, I can't imagine you'll have any trouble looking for jobs. If you're looking for like games art, you might struggle. That looks awesome. You might struggle a little bit. There's... I think one advice I'd have is take off anything on your portfolio that you don't think looks great. This isn't necessarily my advice. This is what I've been told by everywhere, like even in university. Only show your strongest pieces on your portfolio. I have a bunch of stuff hidden on my portfolio. That looks really cool. With some extra texturing on that, that'll look awesome. I mean, it looks awesome now. But yeah, like, I don't know if this is exactly how you want these to look, but it's like, I'd probably get rid of some of these, or at least hide them on your portfolio, and basically show off that, or at least if you wanted, oh, you got ArcViz here, so you have got them separated. Yeah, that's good. So if I wanted to just see the ArcViz, I can. That's really, really good. But yeah, your portfolio is amazing. So it's if you go into an ArcViz company and they don't give you a job, or at least a junior or intermediate artist job, I'll be very surprised. Do you think all or 90% of the ArcViz companies are looking for artists who can create realistic shots? Yeah, I'd say so, because that's all you want for ArcViz, right? ArcViz, you just want a very detailed shot of an environment, well, an interior environment usually. So yeah, I mean, I think it's the realism. Like, you're not gonna go into an ArcViz company and they're gonna go like, oh, I want a stylized scene, right? That's not what they want. They just want realism. With that said, it depends where you go. One of my friends went to that company They did not care about realism, they just cared about placement. It had to look good enough, but it didn't need it to be photorealistic. So it was more about being dynamic in how you move the scene around everything to make the client happy. It's like, oh, actually, I want all the assets to be flips, and I want that here and this here and that here. It was more about that than it was about the detail. I feel most human characters in games are quite ugly. The ones that try the realism. Yeah, it's that uncanny valley, isn't it? It's like sometimes when you're trying to make something realistic, if you're not quite close enough, it just ends up kind of looking ugly and meh. But with metahumans and character creator, I think it's really difficult in some regards to still tackle a realism. It's like talking earlier with Funky Pants, like you can just grab assets online. It's a bit hard to still be, unless you're really, really good, it's really hard to still be a realistic artist. And not be outdone by just what you can get online or photogrammetry. I like to say it's a big reason to why I wanted to get into stylized, but I just liked the idea of stylized. I woke up one day and I was just like, oh, this sounds cool, and I'm not even that great at it. I tackle a lot of stylized stuff from a very technical standpoint, rather than an artistic standpoint. I break things down and I determine how I can render or get some certain qualities in the texture based on a technical standpoint rather than an artistic one. I don't sit there as a painter and hand paint a beautiful wood texture. I bake it all down and I try to manipulate the curvature map and the ambient occlusion maps to give myself a wood texture. But I like tackling stylized from that regard because I think it's really cool. I feel like more stereotypically you tackle realistic art from sort of a more technical standpoint, whereas I do it differently. I tackle my stylized from a more technical standpoint, and I try to manipulate that into making more stylized stuff, and I find that very, very interesting. It's like when you're making like a lava texture, right? So I wish I could show you guys the stuff I made for work. So I've got this really cool lava texture, and the way that it works is it has stuff overlaid, right? But then it's got, because lava, the liquid lava moves faster. This was like a year ago I made this. Liquid lava tends to move faster, or at least it looks like it moves faster than the actual solid pieces of lava on top, like the stuff that's set. So getting stuff to flow like that, sort of over itself, with all these patterns and stuff, then getting your rocky parts to not only look like they're physically coming out of a flat mesh using either tessellation or parallax, but to make it look like they're offset from that lava underneath it as they're moving, makes it look really cool. That's all coming from a technical side, right? It's learning how the movement needs to work, to then implement the maths and everything to make that work in an actual material or a shader, rather than thinking about the artistic side of how am I going to paint lava. Anyways, I'm going to look at somebody's... Today's apparently look at ArtStation Day. So this is my friend. Well, I've not spoken to him in years. He's got no picture. I mean, I sometimes feel bad about sharing his name. It's kind of hard not to. But at the end of the day, it's his live portfolio. So I'm sharing his portfolio, which it was a good thing. So yeah, let's literally look at everything in. Right, so lighting. So there's two things I already noticed in this one. He's just used a generic sky sphere. This was years ago though. Does it say anyone who did it? I go to his proper portfolio. I kind of want to go to his proper portfolio instead, because it shows you when they made it. Wait, is he hidden his original portfolio? How do I get to it? Home page? Okay. Oh, I found it. Okay. So I don't know if he still wants to be a 3D artist. He's not made too much in a while. Like, that was a year ago. So if we look at his first scene. 4 years ago. So admittedly, it was a while ago. You can improve, obviously, much in that time. But yeah, so lighting, composition, and just overall effects in the environment are so important. You can see that here. Look at all the flat coloring here. Where's the ambient occlusion? right? Same with the floor here. Like, the modeling's pretty good. The texturing's definitely lower skill than the modelling. And then it's just there's lack of lighting, there's a lack of post-processing, lack of ambient occlusion. There should have been probably a thick fog to hide out a lot of this stuff. Steven, hey Megapixel. How's it going? The camera angles are pretty cool. But it's like, here, look how sharp this looks. Why is everything else in a silhouette, but this is lit up? I guess it's supposed to be lights here. I think making a bed or sofa yourself or texturing it is good for an ArcViz accuracy, but if you get a job at an ArcViz company and they want you to make an apartment, making the bed, and yeah, they'll probably give you a bunch of assets anyway. The thing with ArcViz, again, this is what I'm saying, like, the thing with ArcViz is they probably, I have arrived, hey Cook, with ArcViz companies, they're probably looking for someone who's more of a level designer anyway, someone who's going to put things together rather than 3D modeling themselves. Because video games tend to need handmade models for very particular reasons, especially for rigging, for animating, for topology, for physics elements and stuff like that, for collision boxes. You need to worry about all these things when it comes to video game assets, but for ArcViz, you're just rendering an image. So you could probably just grab, most companies probably are fine with you just grabbing assets because they'll probably give you a huge library of assets anyway when you get there. ArcViz companies are very, very different than video game companies. And video game companies and ArcViz companies are very, very different from movie CGI. It all comes down to very, very different elements that are more focused upon in each field. Again, I wanted to be a video game artist, and a big part of what I wanted to be was a 3D modeler / prop modeler / environment artist. So I needed 90% of my skill needs to be 3D modeling. My problem when people do it with portfolios, though, if you're going to show off a scene and you're claiming you're a 3D modeler, you need to make it clear what you 3D modeled. If I walked into a kitchen and said, I can cook meals, and then all I did was grab pre-cooked, I grabbed a microwave meal and put it in the microwave, I didn't make that. I technically cooked it, sure, but I didn't make it, right? And I handed that to someone in the restaurant and went, here's your microwave spaghetti carbonara. They're going to be like, microwaved? I thought you was making it. Oh, yeah, I'm a chef. I can cook, but, you know, I didn't make this. It was quicker. It was more modular to buy the microwave version and put in the microwave, right? It comes down to just being truthful about what you've actually made, because that's the part. It's important to let people know what you've actually done. Because I've said before, if you go into a company and you say to them, oh, I'm an environment artist. Oh, so did you make all the models here? No. Oh, we didn't write in your art station that you didn't make these. Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, we're looking for a prop modeler more than we are a level designer. Can you make props? Yeah. Have you got any examples? No. Oh. Okay. Can we give you an art test? They'll probably just make you do an art test. Okay, we want you to model some stuff in 5 days if you can. You know what I mean? So it just comes down to a little bit of honesty. But at the end of the day, that honesty is going to help you as much as it's going to help the company that you're applying for. But like making a room, always should be you, I think, then. Put the assets in and light it, but it looks real. Yeah. I mean, ArcViz does come down to lighting, composition, and just rendering, mostly. So much this, when it comes to design and people thinking pre-made assets are a viable game dev route to make and release a game. Like, making an entire game from pre-made assets is absolutely fine. And you don't need to say on a game, really, that you used all pre-made assets, because the main part of a game is its gameplay anyway. Sure, if you did a dev vlog, it'd be nice to say, oh, if you look at Phasmophobia, he 100% admits he got all his assets online because he's not an artist. I think you might have more developers on it now. Maybe they've made some of the assets themselves, but he's not an artist, so he's bought all the assets and he's made it. And he said that in his dev vlogs and stuff because it's just a bit of honesty and people know what they're getting out of his work. You're not going into Phasmophobia expecting a masterpiece in art. You're going into because you want to hunt ghosts, right? In a video game, you're not trying to sell a company your abilities to 3D model. An art station, a portfolio, you are. That's why I think you should show a lot more honesty on an art station than you should in like video games and stuff. But again, getting pre-made assets, but people misunderstand when I talk about this. Pre-made assets are freaking awesome. I wouldn't, how am I supposed to be against pre-made assets when I literally sell assets on the Unreal Marketplace? I'm obviously not against it. It's just about, like I said, a bit of honesty. I think like this because of clickbait channels. Yeah. 3 years ago when I learned my teacher said when he had applied for a job, they asked him to make this and this in a week or 5 days, and he did it in a night. Cool. Yeah. I don't like art tests in general because in an art test they kind of trick you anyway. They tend to ask you to make more than they think you can do. I don't know. I guess it's to trick you into trying to get more work out of you. But immediately, I've also had a friend who worked at a company. I think he worked at an archivist company. I'm not sure. I don't think he ever really told me what kind of company he worked for. And he said that they were terrible. They would take people's art test work and use it. They would make hundreds of people do art tests a month and use their assets because you don't get paid for an art test. So they're basically getting hundreds of people's free assets for their work. It's terrible. So I'm on the fence of art tests. I get the idea that you're trying to understand what someone's capable of, and I think an art test may be required when someone's not made it clear what they can make. Like if that is scummy. If I'm hiring somebody at my company and they said to me, Steve, and in the interview, or not Steve, sir. Now I don't care what they'd call me, Mr. Christopher. If I was in a interview and I said to them, oh, so is all these assets real time? No, they're all in Blender render. Oh, have you ever done real-time assets? No. Do you know how to use the Unreal Engine? No. Do you think you could set up a scene in a week in the Unreal Engine and get that moderately looking good? And if they said no, I probably wouldn't hire them because I need an environment artist, most likely. But they said yes, I say, well, if you would like, I would give you an art test for a week and we could see what you can make in the Unreal Engine. Because obviously we work in the Unreal Engine. A very important asset of what we do is working in the Unreal Engine. Depending on what I need them for, if they're just a prop artist, I could probably get away of not forcing them to work in the Unreal Engine, but it's always very good to know how to put your assets in the Unreal Engine because you know how they will work. If you give me a model with a bunch of textures on it and the textures don't work real time, that's a problem. Or the model doesn't work real time, that's a problem. Like, let's say it's got a load of engons on it and it renders incorrectly in Engine, but it renders fine in Blender render. I would rather have someone who knows, please, Mr. Steve, sir, my mum is ill and my pa has the shivers. Just a bit more breadcrumbs, sir. Yeah, I'd want to know what they're capable of in the Unreal Engine, even if it's just putting in assets and getting the assets working. We kind of had someone like that originally at my company that I had to look over, and this person was very difficult to work with because this person didn't know how to get things in the engine. So they would make things that work in Substance Painter but wouldn't work in the engine, and that's very, very bad. If you're going for a video games job and you're going for a video game modeler, you should at the very least know how to get it, even if it's not in the engine that company's using. Even if you're like, oh, I can do it in Unity, I'd at least know you know how to set up a very basic material. I would know your assets work in real time. Yes, Funky Pants, they did those art tests so they could get free assets. They might have hired some of them, but not from what my friend said. So yeah, if we're looking at this, so lighting, right? Lighting is, I mean, look at the materials. They look really good. Especially if he's showing off the materials, I can only assume he handmade them. It's a shame because, yeah, the lighting, I bet it's not the best texturing anyway, and it's not like the coolest modeling, but some better lighting would bring this scene to life way better. Looking at this, specular seems way off. I know it's supposed to be shiny, but it just doesn't look right. The normals look too strong. But again, why is the lighting so flat? Where's the ambient occlusion? It's just connecting to places with no shadow quality. Like, that part's particularly bad. Let's zoom in, let me do that. Like, what is happening over here? Where is the ambient occlusion? It just doesn't look right. And this one, I always find a really good example. So the gun's metallic, which means it reflects, it's a darker tone, which tends to happen, which is fine. It just looks like a dark steel. Why? And I get why the dust is coming up lighter, but you're telling me the way that lighting would work on this, you're telling me that all of these areas that you'd expect to see ambient occlusion, where it get dark, we're seeing much that, like, the dust almost looks like it's emitting color. And I get the idea. The reason the dust looks like it's bright is because it is brighter than the solid dark, the dark sort of steel he's going for. And it's not metallic, which means it reflects light better, which means it's a lighter tone. But it should be darker anyway, or at least darker than it is, because it needs ambient occlusion there. It looks wrong having the dark spots that are supposed to be dark super light. I don't know how you can mess up an asset that bad, right? These assets are giving me DX9 level feature quality, just with a higher poly model when it comes to lighting. Yeah. Oh, it's actually got a couple more of this. I don't remember seeing that one. How long ago was this? So this is 3 years ago. That just looks like PS2. It's good textures, and it's a good model. It's just the lighting. I can't stress that enough. I'll show you one of them in a minute that I find very odd. Is it this one? No. See, this was the best one. This one he's lit correctly. But this is probably the best example of his whole portfolio. It's like he's actually lit correctly. Those still probably okay. But this one looks actually really good. He's even got the extra modeling in there to show it cocked back and actually exposing some more of the elements of the gun. He's actually got the rifling in there. Rifling? It doesn't look like it's spiraling, but that might just be because we're only seeing the tip of it. He's got a lot of detail here. This is a really, really nice asset. He needs more. I don't know why the lighting looks worse than the actual renderer. He needs more of assets like this because he's got all this extra detail here. Got all of these bits here. All hand textured. Very nice. This looks like it's 512 by 512. Might just be the renderer. Yeah, very good. Very good. Like, look, it's game ready. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here. Why is it modeled? No, wait. I just want the overall. Oh, it's the bit that comes out. So, good example here is he didn't need to. It's like when I said about different things. I guess he wanted to bevel in, but that could have just been a normal, right? You could have just done a little normal there to make it look like it sits in. And then you could just. This is a separate object, I think. What is it? I don't know. If this isn't a separate object, that's terrible. Because, like, not only is it looking kind of wrong here, in real life, it's a separate object. It's a button you press in. Like, why wouldn't you have that as a separate object? I can't tell if it is. Because of the quality on its textures, it might be separate, but that could just be because it's on a different island. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to get that close to it anyway. I mean, you're going to look at the gun from probably this distance. Unless you have a menu where you can go like this and spin it around, you're not going to look at it from close up. But this is the best looking asset on his portfolio. This one, I don't know. I don't get when people do these weird things with the background. He's got a cloud mask. It's usually called a cloud mask. Or a cloud alpha. And then he's got this scratchy one here, which I don't know what this is. Why? Just do the same background that he did here, right? Like, I'm distracted more by the background than I am the asset. It's weird. This one looks good too. It's a better lighting and better background. Like, the modeling is very nice. In fact, why not just render it with this background? Yeah, this looks. Oh, there you go. Here, this looks very good. It's only one little asset. If it was attached to a whole gun with this quality, obviously they'd be like, wow. But yeah. But then no, this was really nice. I've started using more alpha masks or decal masks for. Oh god, why can't I zoom in? I started using more decal masks when I do this. Obviously, when it's a part of the actual texture, you need that in the texture map so it can look low quality. This must be like 2K. Yeah, because writing always looks, even if you're in 2K, you'd be surprised how low quality writing can look. You'll have people to post videos of their work on your Discord. No, if you just go to work in progress or critique, or depending on what you want, or finished stuff, post in there, man. I don't mean anything bad, maybe family friendly ish. Yeah, that sounds fine. Uploaded the change when it's your DC. Can you review it? I mean, I think it looks really good anyway. So I thought the walls, like I said, were supposed to look that way. So yeah, I mean, look how much cleaner they look. So if you were going for a much cleaner wall, that looks clean now. Like that looks very clean. So yeah, I mean, that's That's exactly what you wanted, right? Like, oh, the second one looks better. That slight bit of more less exposed. But yeah, that looks perfect. It's really hard to say there's anything wrong now. Again, I thought you wanted it to have that extra detailing on the wall to make it look a little less clean. I thought it was more what's the word? Vintage? No, like you see that? Like I thought that was intentional, but I mean, yeah, that looks perfect. Oh, you changed that. It's posted Photoshop. You probably could just turn down exposure to get that second look, right? I feel like. Let's see what. Oops. Let's see actually what you changed, mate. Walls change. So changing the walls to be lighter is going to cause the room to have more exposure anyway, because of the way the light bounces, the lighter the wall, the lighter the everything else is going to be. Yeah, I like the bedside table more. It's still very, very clean, but that's ArcViz for you. I don't know why. I just didn't like this one. It just looked wrong. Maybe it needed the marble tiled more. It just doesn't look right. I like the rooms. This looks cleaner. This looks a bit better. I think you probably should just have that matching the bed frame though, right? I feel like if you're making an actual bedroom, you'd have it match. That's very, very, very nitpicky. Yeah, that looks way better if that's what you're going for. Again, it's up to your own personal... when it comes to art, I guess it's ArcViz, but when it comes to art, it's also up to your own personal discretion. If you like how something looks more than somebody else, like let's say you liked that dirty wall look, and I said, no, it should be cleaner. It's only improved, in my perspective, well, let's say I wanted it cleaner. It's only improved the whole render by maybe 5-10% at most. But if you prefer it one way, and you wanted it to look more like that, that's up to you. Yeah, looks good, was it though? I didn't mind. I think both looked fine. I think, in my opinion, if I wanted to keep that like the more rustic looking wall, I think I would basically just tile it a bit more, because you get close. Look, see how like really, really big information. Probably like this part looks cool, but maybe tile it at maybe an extra 50%. Maybe reduce the normal map to 0.8 and you'd still get some of that rustic look. In my opinion, that bedside table is too centered to the left. I think it's like, oh wait, not that one then. Well, a bedside table would be next to the bed, but I guess it'd then be sitting over the edge of the carpet. It'd be closer to the bed. Oh yeah, there you go. The fact both bedside tables are and plant are centered looks odd to me. Asymmetrical is a bit more. Yeah, I like asymmetrical. I get what you mean. Yeah. You know what I would probably do instead of a bedside table, because if you don't want it to be close, I'd probably just have right here a chest of drawers. Because then you get the disconnect from the edge of the wall, because you've got a disconnect here from the edge of the wall, because it helps break up some of that straight lineness. So you'd have it coming out here to here. Probably do that, and then you can have like a cool little asset just sitting on top of the bedside table. Yeah, that's just nitpicky though. That's very, very, very nitpicky. Maybe even bedside both sides, plant it on one side. Oh yeah, because if you hit both sides closer to it and it comes to like here and here, then you have the plant slightly pushed out more and be less central. That'll help the asymmetric. But again, this is nitpicky. I still think it looks very good overall. I feel really bad because when I like review something, I feel like people get very, I'm not saying funky pants doing this, people get very extreme when you're talking about something. If you say something's not the best, some people think you're saying it's the worst. I'm like, no. I'm saying it's not perfection, right? I'm saying it's a 9 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10. Just because I'm saying something's not perfect does not mean I'm saying it's a 1 out of 10. Oh, what just got deleted? I saw that. You said about being nitpicky, but then it like vanished. Did you delete it or retracted? Or did my, did it think it was rude? Again, so, today is just, if you guys want me to look at your art stations, go for it. Very, very, very good scene. This looks awesome. The lighting, however, is garbage. Did he let's disable ambient occlusion on everything? Like, I don't understand. I'd like to show you guys someone else, actually. What was his name? What's it? I know his last name. Oh, that's it. I think he gave up on his 3D art dream. Oh, he's actually best asset is that recent? I'm not showing you it right now. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, 2 months ago. That was good. Okay, so I'll show you this in a minute. And he suffers from the same problem with lighting. So the composition here is great. Like, he's got some stuff on the floor, a normal walk paths. If this is video games, so video games you tend to have wider walk paths anyway. Unless your character has the ability to step over things, stuff like that. Naturally, sometimes not right escapes. Sometimes right escapes when you out. Locomotion. You've got like locomotion stuff, and you can actually step over things stuff. That's fine. But yeah, if you like, Dark Souls 3 comes to mind. There are so many wide pathways, and all the detailing on the floor comes from textures and stuff, because you don't want your character to stumble over or to get blocked by assets. But this is fine. Like, you can maybe get some decals on it to help divide up the floor, but that's a nice bit of area to walk. You're like, look, he's got shells. It's like, this looks cool, but what's with the lighting? Like, what is going on? What is going on here? Did the light here and light here and then it's here. There's a point like here casting shadows. You're just not casting shadows. Is this Unreal Engine? Yeah. That is the very silky, fat look. The thing with like covers and stuff, you just gotta go into Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, and enable the cloth simulation, and then if it lets you actually grab points and move it during the cloth simulation and the freeze transformations, that's even better, because then you can like fold it over during the simulation and stuff. In fact, you can do that in Blender. You can't grab it physically, but you can use a volume and animate the volume to push it over, so you can simulate. Like, I wonder if I could do it now. If I could, let's do it. Oh yeah, IKs. Well, not necessarily. And I know what you mean, like IKs, because if you guys, I don't know how to set up IKs in Blender. IK handles are awesome, because you can have it so like you've got the IK start from here and it goes to here. When you grab the arm, it will move the elbow and everything for you. Whereas an FK is basically all of them separated. So if I wanted an arm to go from here, actually, let's say from here, right? As long as you got your point set up correctly and your IK set up correctly, if I grab this point and then pull it over here, it should bend all this correctly. And if I twisted the wrist. Whereas an FK, I'd have to rotate this, rotate this, rotate this, or this. I can't remember which way I did it. And then, all right, fingers. And then have them all separate as well, because you can have IKs on your fingers, I think, as well. So you can have it so when I grab this, it'll pull out the entire finger. But if I'm FKing it, I'll have to do one at a time. What do you think about lights? Oh wait, I just put together a quick scene menu. Good, so it could look real. Yeah. What do you think to like? Cool. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. So cloth sims. So I think I don't do cloth sims very often. I never feel bad. I'll say this sort. Never feel bad about having to look things up online all the time. I forget how to do things all the time. If I wanted to do a cloth sim at work right now, I'd probably look it up. So if we had that and then a duvet on top, I don't think we need a thickness right now. Let's do. Oh, we don't want too much actually. I say that 50 sim. Then we do. And we can subdivide it once. We can go into here. Go into soft ways, no cloth. Go into cloth, turn this into a collision. Yeah. Right, so it needs to be a. So it's a legitimate spider. Got a little bit too much. Pull it up a bit. There. Problem is, I know without changing settings, it will be very floaty. Very flat anyway. What I want to do, animate something. Yeah. if... What? Yeah, you good? Right, yeah. Oh, I got cylinder back. Wait, what unhides, Steve? So if we do this, then we just simulate it like picking this part up, so it should help fold it over. S? No, that's my... I? Go just location. Yeah. Location. Set this to a collision. Should pull that over and hopefully flip it. And yeah, staging things up like this is very common. I think I saw Angie Price do it as well. This is going to flip the entire thing off, isn't it? It depends on how much friction we have. Again, I don't know how to change all those settings because it's so long. Oh, yeah, it's going to... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, flip. Flip. Going to down, isn't it? Oh, that's all right. Like that, smooth that over. Oh, we need self-collision. I don't think we need any pressure. Again, if you want to do this stuff, try not to do it from memory, just like I'm doing. Just do it. So I probably want to do a solidify as well. So depending on the order of this, I'm subdividing first, which means it's doing the simulation depending on its subdivide, which is what I want. But if you did it the other way around, we won't get as much detailing. So solidify. I'm going to do solidify before as well. Find it. Solidify. We actually have a thickness. We get little, like very, very thin. Very, very. Actually, should I make it thin too? No, let's make it thick. So we want that before the cloth. I've just noticed someone else in chat said something. I'll read it just a sec. I want to figure out where self-collision. Alright, try that one more time. So it's got a lot of polys to simulate. It's really nice. We do a lot. Yeah, he's complimenting for Funky Pants. I thought of something to ask you in your stream earlier today, but now I totally forgot. Nice! What I wanted to ask you, you have any resemblance to what you thought it was about? It feels like going into a room to fetch something and forgetting what to fetch. I hate when that happens. You know, I like doing that when you open the fridge door and you're like, oh, I'm going to get something out. You open it, you just stare into the fridge like... I remember. And then you go to eat a dinner and you're halfway through eating it and you're like, oh, the sauce, or oh, the spring onions. I've already eaten after meal now. There's no point. So yeah, if you ever want to do cloth, don't do what I did years ago, where I didn't have access to a cloth sim. I had access to Blender, but I was using mine. I was using my light, and I tried to manually do the creases. Just simulate it. Simulated cloth is always going to look better than modeling, and at the end of the day, it's going to be faster. Like, I'm sitting there and waiting for this, obviously. Like, look how cool that already looked. Like, look at all those creases. So if I wanted something sitting here, like, for example, a big sphere, I could just do that. Fold over. Come on, baby, fold over. I should technically animate it to move to the left, so because I want it to look like someone's got out of bed, right? It's just like probably how my bed looks like right now. No, my bed looks awful right now. What the heck? So again, you can get the settings way better than this. In fact, just by turning stuff like this up, you can probably get better. I don't remember all the settings. I've not used Blender in too long. Yeah, for this kind of stuff. I use Blender daily, but I've not used like simulators and stuff in Blender. I don't even remember how to set up a water shader. I used to love water shaders. On fold. You can do it. It sounds like I'm playing poker. Come on, fold. I want to win. Welcome, Ryan Green, to the Discord server. Oh, and... Oh. Angelic Lane? I'm so sorry. I probably butchered that. Cool. So as soon as that lands flat... Then, so that looks brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted. Can I... Now, I can't remember how to save simulation. Blender. Save. Simulation? Or simulation? It's not bake, is it? I thought it's literally like confirm transforms or something. Maybe you are right. Saving a mesh from a frame in cloth simulation. Here we go. Oh, do I just click apply to it? Do I just like apply everything? I just wasted all that time. I don't want to. Let's save it. That's a good idea. Save. Desktop. Other. My typing. Every time I'm on stream, my typing's so bad. I'm too nervous. So if we convert to mesh. Boom. So we don't need this anymore. Now we've got this really nice cloth. We don't want to come into here. If you wanted to obviously make this game ready, you'd probably just do a duplicate. I would want to isolate that out, decimate that. Probably it's kind of the I should not click play now. This is kind of the bodge job I'd step, but you'd want to just subdivide it. You'd want to try to keep your edge detailing. This is probably why I clicked play. I didn't want to click planar. Even though it's only 40,000 faces, that's really good for a cloth sim. I'm surprised it looks so nice. I'm going to subdivide it as well. I would, anyway. Gonna load up my other one. Background. Convert. Duplicate. Isolate. Decimate. Get up my chat. Looks comfy. Thank you, Lebon. It's gonna crash. Thank you. What did I say? Decimate. To be fair, you could just put this into nanites and I wouldn't have to do this. Yeah, I could just do that. I could just make it nanites and put it straight into the Unreal Engine. It depends what you're using it for. Unsubdivide. There you go. 1, 2. Probably just want to use this. It's still 10,000. Yeah, 10,000. You'd actually want less than that, but you'd have to manually. Oh, you know what? That would probably. Maybe not. That corner's really bad. What does it look like without that? Yeah, you'd maybe want to actually just manually. Do it. You're looking to get rid of a lot of this detail. I mean, I could do it twice. But let's just do like an example. You could do it twice, get something like this, which obviously doesn't look as good. But then you'd grab your high poly, subdivide it one more time. Like really nice, right? You then grab. Oh. Crisp. I love simulation. Simulation is like, I wonder if anyone ever got annoyed at that. I wonder if there's anybody who used to like be really into simulation. Like, no, not simulation, and doing it manually. And then simulation came out. They're like, no, my job. This is what I strive to be. Now there's a simulation doesn't say. So you can actually get to sculpting as well. You can actually, if I wanted some more creases in other spaces, I could never know how to use this tool properly. It just seems to push it. I guess let's get sculpting. There's probably radius, strength, direction. What would I do? Oh, wait a minute. But yeah, you can obviously do normal sculpting on it because it's very high poly. Strength, turn it down. You'd like get in all little bits on it. Like this. I mean, turn the size up a little. Oh, and it's struggling, guys. And yeah, just like get all the like detail on the wrinkles, just make it. And then what you'd want to do, so high poly. What you want to do, that's pretty sick. I think. I love simulation. Simulation can do wonders to your work. So you'd probably want to put on maybe a weighted normal and then turn on your normal percentage so you get the sharp corners. Not sure if that worked better or worse. We can see. I'm going to put this into Substance and show you the result of baking it. Oh no! It created freaking... Oh! The decimation created tries? Really? Ah! Okay, so... And... You don't actually need all... I modulate that? No? Kind of? Annoying. I wanted to unwrap it. Fine, we'll just do a smart unwrap. Save myself some time. We're just doing it a quick and dirty way. Hopefully that'd be good enough to... let's go. Because what you'd actually do is you're just like, right? Because it's... The shape is essentially just this. This. With a line in the middle. So you just do a mark seam here and unwrap that. Get this. Whoops. How did I do that? You get this. I don't know why it looks like that. It's this. Why is it diagonal? There you go. You get this. But I can't get this, or at least not without a lot of effort, because I need to somehow get around all the edges without... Oh, that's kind of messed up here, but it's fine. Without it selecting the tries. So I've got to go one at a time. So we'll just do automatic for now. Fine. So you take this. That's the high poly, low poly. Hopefully this will work. X, desktop, we'll just cover underscore, or duvet. Duvet sounds better. Duvet underscore poly. Cool. High poly. High poly. Substance painter. I'd love to see that as a nanite. That probably work really well as a nanite. I could thread it in if you want. Yeah, we're... Oh, I can't. Nanites doesn't seem to work for me. I don't know why. Yeah, some baking. Sorry, I didn't see that coming up. New. Desktop. That's... What is that? Synthesis asset. What are these? Do a... That should be the low poly one. So if you were to bake this out, your stuff, you'd still get like all the shadows and everything. See what I mean though? Look how much like extra work there is to making a game asset, right? Instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to keep it high poly and just apply a tiling texture in Engine. It's in Blender. There's a lot more. There's to be a lot more that goes into making a game asset because you have to care about all these like little bits now. Basically, what I'm saying is like, if you see a very beautiful video game, know that a lot of work went into that. Bet the artist. So that should bake quite nicely. Okay, we got all the wrinkles here and everything, but yeah, you can see where it's disconnecting the UV maps here. Man. Okay, let's get back into here. Delete that one. Reduplicate this one. And do... If I mark seam now and then decimate, I wonder if I'll get to... If I mark seam... See what I mean? I say to people like, nanites is great and you can have these really high polys, but look how long this is taking just to UV map it, right? Like, as much as I want to sit here and say nanites is the coolest thing since sliced bread, it can cause a lot of issues. Like, look, I'm just, my Blender's freezing, just UV mapping. That's good. Wait, no, that's not. Why is that? Did I scale the thingy? That needs to be longer. Oh, it gives you a warning. So what that's telling me is I've scaled it, and it will unwrap it as if that scale wasn't applied. At least I thought it would. Hold on a minute. Why is this like not? Is this more square than I think it is? I mean, the UVs look good. Is there a gap? There's light marge in. That's good enough. So that should be a better unwrap. Now let's decimate it and see if it breaks our unwrap. That's not it. Decimate. Undivided. Boom. Boom. What I should have done, it was not apply to subdivide. Yeah, maybe I'll do that if this is all. So, boom, 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 boom. Isolate that. Ooh. No! It's still broken on the edges, isn't it? Oh no, they look a bit better. No, they don't. No! Oh, actually. Okay, cool. I think any software would be slow at what we're trying to do right now. Oh. Okay, so that got to a certain point where it shouldn't have kept doing that. I like how we're just struggling now to get... Why is it UV unsubdivided? Unsubdivided? That doesn't sound... why is it done it like that? Oh no. Alright, that looks good. I am very interested to see how well this bakes with an actual proper... I don't even see what I'm doing here. Hold on a minute. Mark what we've got so far. And freaking click off. Yeah. What sugar do you use to select the triangles, edges? Oh, so if you've got... So let's say I wanted to go and then a free gap, right? If I press Control, Shift, and then plus, it will do that free gap for me every time on selection. It's really, really helpful if you got something, let's say we gave something too many edge loops, and we're making it and everything, going to go, oh, actually, I can reduce those edge loops. Okay, let me select every other one. And you're like, oh, this is taking me ages. If you, as long as you do what you want to be selected, so I want to select something, have a gap, and then select again. Then I press Control, Shift, plus, it will select on that. That. And then I can go like delete edge loop. So I've now essentially subdivided it myself. I could have technically did that for this, selected every other one. Oh, not a bad shout actually. That's probably, I mean, I'm close to doing it this way, so I'm convinced I could do it. Another tip on that. If you've got something that's a bit more of a complicated shape, let's do this. So I'm not actually going to make it complicated. I'm just going to put in some edge loops. So let's say you've got... That's more complicated. Sure, you could do that. That's your next one. Do that. But if you've selected one edge loop to begin with, you can just go select. Select loop, edge loop. It will select the whole edge loop for you. And then I can just delete that. And same in the other direction. If I do that, select all the way around. Then go select loop, edge loop. And do that. Oh, whoops, I kept it as one mesh. I'm going to get this unwrapped. I swear I'm my mum. No idea what's going on there. That mesh is a little bit weak. I'm going to ignore it. Again, you'd probably have made a unique mesh for this instead of what I'm doing, but I was just trying to save time. Probably do like your own custom... Oh, no. Yeah. Yeah. I mean... Oh, whatever. That should work. Unwrap. Yeah, boy. It's still quite high poly. If you're actually making it low poly, you'd probably do a bit less this. I'm going to stretch them because Substance is good with stretch meshes anyway, so it actually should be fine. So now let's export that instead. Oops. That's fine. Poly. Poly. Yes. Card. That should look fine. You can already tell the UV's better just because this looks... Well, that actually looks pretty good despite being the low poly version. I mean, it's not low poly, but Yeah. Now let's bake it with polygons. Let's make poly bake. Oh, give me some good quality. We're getting some jank. Look at this. We're getting all this detail. Kind of alright, but kind of bad at sync. Yeah, it just comes down to experimenting. I mean, if I looked at that from a distance, that looks like a completely fine duvet. Let's put it on a stylized deck. Bed. You know what? We'll do a custom blur over the top. Down a little bit. Up. Then we don't want that. Probably let's make the color more saturated. Let's do a quick number bet. There you go. That's clean. You know what? It slightly floats. What's up, Stephen? Hey, man. It's... Oh, it's Stephanie. I was like, Stephen with a V, but then I saw your name. You know what? If I was a girl, my parents said they were going to call me Stephanie. That's a tidbit for you. I don't know how many of you would actually be interested in that information, but they... Make that a bit more. Obviously, with stylized, you tend to want to go way more with exaggerating edges and stuff. Very crucial information. Pretty good. You could then put on like a off. I should have something. Camo. Camo one's cool. Cloth fabric. I know what seal. I gotta have a silk. You know what? Silk's got way less. Just what? Really got a very simple. Oh, nice basic cross thread on it. If we, I meant Steve. Sorry, no, that's fine. I don't care. See, that I think is too much detail, right? What I could do, because it's again stylized, so what I could do. It's like blur on there. Blur out those. Yeah. And this will only matter if something stylized. A lot of stylized stuff don't tend to even have surface detail on them. Our own discretion. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it off. Yeah, and we've got a duvet for a bed. And that's how I would go about making a duvet for a bed. I don't remember how we got on this tangent, I'd probably add some extra detailing, like a odd space, and make it so everything on top is a tad brighter. So let's come up. So that's play turn. Make it so what you tend to want to do is not just make it white, but if we're at blue, you go up in the here and want to make it slightly like that too, and make it a bit. That way we get that on top, and I could. And we could all duplicate at the mask, and on this one multiply. There's a want your overlay on top, and there's the same thing here, except if we've got a blue, we want it to be more direction. Down, up, back to fit where we want. So yeah, and then we could do. Oh, I can smell my pot noodle. Have I just not sniffed this entire time? I was like, man, something smells fishy. I had a shrimp pot noodle earlier. I had green onions left over. Do you guys ever do that? I've got into that recently. I'll have a pot noodle and I'll add things to it. And I had basically some cut up. Oh, it's Hero. My chat, right? I'll have like a bunch of cut up scallions or spring onions or green onions, depending on what you want to call them, and I'll just like throw them in, or I'll have something else. I just mix it all in. I've been adding like teriyaki sauce. I've been adding some mirin, and I'll just mix it around to get all this extra stuff in my pot noodle. Really nice. It's really nice. It's like a one step up. I always add stuff to my noodles. Nice. Pot noodles or noodles? Because anytime I mention noodles to people, they tend to mean the packet noodles, and I'm like, I usually mean the cup noodles. I love actual noodles too. I make ramen on the weekends ever so often, but mostly olives. Olives! Penne? Penne's not a noodle, it's a pasta. What's the difference? Usually, at least in England, if you say noodle, you mean like, how would you describe noodles? You mean like what goes in a stir-fry noodles, but when you say pasta, you mean, you know, penne, spaghetti. I can't think of any other names. Lasagna. Not fettuccine, that's cheese. Tagliatelle. Yeah, Americans do that as well. When Americans also say noodle, they usually just mean anything that's pasta or noodles. Whereas in England, we tend to, or at least most people I meet, tend to mean, when we say noodles, we mean noodles that you have in a stir fry. Like, you know, I don't really know how to explain noodles. Whereas when we say pasta, we mean all the pasta stuff, like penne. Yeah, and then what I'd probably do last, just a positional mask. I'd probably that. This is if I'm making a stylized duvet. I mean, obviously, this is very specific to the kind of work I do. Like that, so that's on multiply. So that'll be accurate. Probably said that's like red. Got duvet. Had that sitting on a cover. These have come through way stronger than I was expecting. Kind of cool though. You get these parts here that look a bit bad, but I think it's just because the decimate didn't work very well. I mean, it is like poorly. No. Alright, this part came out. Yeah. Anyways, I just got called for dinner. So I'm going to go eat my dinner. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed me ranting. But I didn't do any work today. I literally have what I was going to work on up. And we didn't do anything today. So, sorry to anyone who likes watching me actually progress in what I'm making. I think I had a lot of fun talking about the random stuff we were talking about. So yeah, I hope once again I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. What is it? Why is that? Now I'm intrigued. It's coming from there. Is that because it's slightly behind? I'll let you run. What? Put it further back. I think it's because it's clipping. Thanks for reviewing my renders. You are very, very welcome. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I will catch you guys tomorrow when I will do a much longer stream, hopefully. Preferably 3 to 4 hours. And we can actually get an asset done. I think we're going to be filling the cabinet with some stuff. Oh, I discovered that indirect lighting does not light up. This is very important, actually. Rectangular lights and indirect lights do not light up transparent objects, right? So for those... What's in what position? For those of you who don't know what I mean when I say that, if we put a point light here, you'll see all of this like stuff get lit up. Now, I don't know if this is a software lumen versus hardware lumen thing, to be fair. You can see all this like transparent object get lit up. You can see all these like edge dirtiness get lit up. But if I were to put a this, hopefully it doesn't work because example. This is very important information for those of you who are trying to make a scene use this. Yeah, look at that. Look, none of this gets lit up. That see the difference. So if we again put a point light in, you can see all of that being lit up. Difference. Look, well, that gets lit up, all the dirt because it's transparent object and it registers. Versus rectangular lights. Rectangular lights do not cast or give transparent objects light for some reason. I don't know why. It's just not a thing. I don't know if there's a setting to make it work, but it's a little bit frustrating. So work I'm working on at my company at the moment, my whole scene is filled with rectangular lights to simulate like fluorescent long lights, and we realized our windows weren't getting lights on them. It's very, very important. And also indirect lighting. So if you had this over here, you can obviously see it's lighting up a little bit. If we boost our indirect lighting to, let's say, an insane amount, it won't light these areas up. It won't light... In fact, that does look like it is working. Maybe it's just for angular. That looks like that's working. Maybe it's just when you've got rectangular indirect lighting. Let's pop that in there and do that insane. I don't know. I can't tell. But yeah, rectangular lights do not give transparent objects light. Very annoying. Don't know how to fix it. But yeah, just a last little tidbit before I leave. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.